information to Dr. Binion as well, so you all can be a part. Yes, ma'am. No meeting this month. No meeting this month. We're going to start back in January. That's all I got.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, next we're going to have Principal Williams from Plato Learning Academy.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. So a couple of things I was just thinking about this is that I know that some of you know who I am, and there's a lot of times I just launch into things. So I just wanted to share a couple of items. So obviously my name is Charles Williams. I'm the principal at Plato Learning Academy. This is my 5th year as a principal. So I've been all over in urban education. I started in Northwest Indiana, Gary, Hammond, and so this is my 4th year now in Chicago. And so there's a lot of things. So I know a lot of times when I meet people, they say, well, you know, what experience do you have? What authority do you have to do the things you've done? And so if my success hasn't said enough, you know, we have these other things, right? Presenting at the conferences. Chicago has something called a GEM cohort, where they've taken African American leaders from around the city. There's 14 of us. There was about 140 applicants, but there's 14 of us who are part of that cohort trying to make Chicago a better place for our students. So I just wanted, if you didn't know who I was or some of the background there, I just wanted to share that with you. But Dr. Binion did reference something earlier. So these been a very hectic last 2 months. So the SQRP, which I've mentioned before, those are the Chicago school ratings, came out. And on the surface level, it says, well, you know, Plato was at a level 2, and immediately after, we were on a possible closure list. I was like, here we go again. My argument this time was, I said, we had so much growth. And when they say a level 2, it doesn't capture that. So just a couple of items. For example, we had to reach the 40th percentile in math. We were at the 18th. And in my meetings with CPS, they said, you know, it's a really high goal. I don't know if you'll make it. But we hit the 42nd percentile, right? So from the 18th to the 42nd. Thank you. They also look at our subgroups. So our diverse learners were at the 3rd percentile in math. They moved up to the 63rd percentile. Our 4th graders, for example, is just 1 for reading. They were at the 90th plus percentile in reading. So I shared all of this with CPS, and I said, I know that we're at a level 2 on the surface, but we've had so much growth, and even within your metrics we've grown. You know, you need to give us an opportunity. In addition to that, I've even just here, working with Reverend McClendon with college tours, the state's attorney's office, CPD, Officer Hunter and I, we work very closely with one another, healthy schools, doing nutrition information for our school, and even just Columbus Park is a hub for our after schools program. And we share all of this, all the stuff that we're doing out in the community and how we rely on one another. Well, Monday, if you paid attention in the Sun-Times, it was literally the last little sentence there, but it's there. They said everything that was happening, and then they said Plato's been removed from the list of closures. So super, super excited there that, you know, I think part of that comes in where we have to say, we're not just going to sit back and say, okay, whatever you want to do. I said, no, you need to hear what's happening here. And so I just want to say again, and I say this all the time, thank you for all of your support, because it's when we come together and we have these shared voices. Oh, and I see World Vision here as well. Thank you. I just want to say thank you, because it's all of us working together that are making things possible. So I just, again, want to say thank you. You mentioned, or you saw him earlier, I am all over the place, and I've often tried to figure out how I could be at 2, 3, 4 meetings at once. And so we have brought in Carlton Jenkins. So Carlton works directly with us. So he is out in the community while I'm taking care of business at the school. Carlton is out in the community, shaking hands, touching making contact with people. So please, if you see Carlton out and about, if he's contacting you, he is authorized to do so. He's an extension of us, so please feel free. I believe those are all of my announcements for this month. So again, I just want to continue saying thank you. And I know that Dr. Binion touched on this, and I was considering sharing it. You know, she mentioned earlier, you never quite know, but there's always God looking out for us. And just make sure, never, ever take for granted those who you love. My wife and I were just out of town this weekend. Had a wonderful week, but I came back to work, and of course I'm overwhelmed, so I'm rushing. So she called me every morning like she normally does and said, babe, you know, I said, babe, I love you, but I've got tons of things. About 30 minutes later, I received an email from her. Her school was on a lockdown. Somebody had called in a bomb threat, things were happening. So for an hour or so, I had no idea. Everything's okay, thank God. But just as we said, you know, you never know. And so there's definitely somebody up there watching out for us. So thank you guys, thank you.
And he's going to come and share with us about the property taxes situation.
Good morning, everyone. Like I told you, I come in to wake you up and make you mad, too, because you ought to be mad. First, let me say this. I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to have been woken up about this whole issue of the tax divide.